multiple multiple strokes, and didn't get an opportunity to spend these last moments with him. But I took it pretty hard because he was the last one, and he was the uncle that I was closest to, and so he was the one that encouraged like me and my son and some of the other ones to take up golf, and that was pretty good. So just be mindful that we need to cherish every moment we have because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So I really, really value you guys spending time with us today. And so I'm going to share a PowerPoint because 90% of the times I'm doing a presentation, I bring a PowerPoint. And this time I want to do something very, very challenging to all of you because studying Glasser and understanding his total behavior. And I'll share with you guys this piece in a minute because this is the book that I have written, and I have used choice theory, reality therapy. I use ACT, Deceptors, commitment therapy, and Kim Over's book, Mental Freedom, in this piece. But I want to talk about the unchained mind, but the total behavior. Because when I'm teaching Black men and men of color in this context, I continue to talk about the total behavior. But I want to share something with you guys today. I looked at total behavior in a different light, and I included with mental freedom because I think there's certain pieces that I saw that was needed. And in looking at Glasser's car, the car, I look at it as a Model G for Glasser. Then I have changed it into a Model D for Dent. So, because Glasser at the time he wrote it, he wasn't thinking about electric cars. He wasn't thinking about other features that come along in the car. So I did this total behavior, and like I said, adding mental freedom to it. I just want to go with you guys right now. So my aim is, even when I'm aiming for something, is dismantling negative beliefs. What I'm using choice theory reality therapy, my aim is how do I target negative beliefs? And sometimes these negative beliefs sits with us too long, and they show up in our behavior, and they show up in our attitude and our relationship with other people. And so I love this piece, everybody, and I hope you enjoy it. And like my boy Dr. Max said, take copious notes because note takers are money makers, are game changers. That's what we always talk about. But I want to get you to this. I want to get you to see this next piece. So when I took the car, and we go on here in a second, I took the car and I look at choice theory. I took at the total behavior. Like I said, he was the Model G. Dr. Glasser is the Model G. I'm changing to the Model D because I am looking at the electric car. I'm looking at all the features of a car today because you look at the basic needs. Dr. Glasser saw the basic needs like the engine, what drives the car, what is leading the car, what is leading everything. He placed it there. It's the engine. And if you ask the question, what happens when the engine is breaking down? What happens? So the direction of the car is not moving like it ought to. It's not fine tuned because you have to keep your car tuned in order for the behavior to continue to grow and to mature and to interact with other people. So here we go, everybody. The car components. So we talk about the front tires, acting and thinking. We talk about back tires, feeling and physiology. The engine is the basic needs. But think about it for a second. What about the wants? He talked about that's the hood, but the wants also related to desires. And so I look at like when I throw the integrate the spirituality to it, the wants is like the Bible says, God gives you the desires of your heart. And when it says that, there's a commitment there to say, have I clarified what is it that I want? And then is my desires are clear, the things I want or desire less. Here's the things, what do I allow? So I look at the things, what do I want, my desires, or what do I allow to happen in my life? If I just allow things to happen, as Lynn touched on it just a second ago, that which I tolerate it because I allowed it to happen. I allowed the distractions to take me away from where I'm going. I allow people to stretch my boundaries because I don't have set boundaries. I allow it to happen to my, it's not what I desire, not what I want, but I have a tendency to allow it. And is that good in moving the car forward? Or am I on a racetrack just going in circles? Just going in circles. I'm picking up speed and I'm slowing down. I'm making pit stops, but I'm just going in circles because I didn't do the proper assessment of what is it I clearly want. All right. So my car components, steering wheel. What is the direction? I mean, think about it. You got to, there's no, I've yet to see a car without a steering wheel. Have you? Have you seen a car without the steering wheel? And think about when you talk about steering, because you have the tires, you have everything, you have the front, you have the rear suspension and everything going on in the car, but you got to have a steering wheel and say, what direction I'm going? I'll throw a quick one at you. If you don't know where you're going, you end up somewhere you didn't plan. So I need to know crystal clear, what's my direction? And if I'm headed in a certain place, what is it I'm thinking? What is it I'm feeling? What action do I take? But if I don't have a steering wheel, where am I going? What direction? So when I'm sitting with a client, when I'm sitting with anyone coaching or anything, I'm thinking about the direction, even in the conversation they're having with me. Where's this conversation leading us? Is it going to get us to the destination that we plan? And think about the gas pedal, everybody. I know some people I met got heavy, what we say, got heavy feet. They got that heavy foot and they press on the gas. But the gas pedal represents self-discipline and motivation. Without discipline, especially like I could share this with you as a Marine, we had to have discipline. When you think about what drives us, you got to have discipline because without discipline, you don't have a structure and you don't have organization. You got to have discipline to get structure in your life. So I use the gas pedal as the discipline. Y'all see the exhaust coming at the, so that's the gas pedal. Think about it for a moment. What kind of discipline we need in our behavior? So when I look at Dr. Glasser car, I was asking, do you not have a gas pedal? Or is it the Flintstones days that we put our feet through the board and we run and we run and we run? But even with that, it requires discipline. But what about my brake pedal? When the last time you paused, did a reflection in self-regulation? These are my components about unchained minds. So when I'm talking to Black men and men of color, I'm asking them to take a break for a second, pause for a second, reflect, and do some self-regulation. Look at how do you have this emotional mastery in your life? When is it that you pause? When is it that you take a break? When is it that you spend time reflecting over even a day, over even a conversation or a relationship? And then look at self-regulation. What do I look like in the context, in the content? What's going on inside of me when I'm even driving the car? Do you think about that? What's going on inside of you, even when you're driving the car? All right, my components continue. I rarely see cars without headlights. You notice that? You notice that you rarely see cars without headlights. I mean, NASCAR, they got, but they don't drive on. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a NASCAR fan. Okay, so, but you got to have headlights to give us guidance. Where are you headed? Okay, I got all the pieces, got my thinking, got everything going, but I got to have somewhere I'm headed. So I have guidance. So my headlights are guiding me through some dark times in my life. And if you tell me one person that that you know have never experienced some darkness in their life, at least one. So when I'm talking about mental health with these Black men and men of color, I'm asking them about who's guiding them, what's guiding them. Do they have values that's guiding their every decision? And so I have taken the Glasser model and I have added these filters. I added as IQ, EQ, and SQ, which I won't put it here, but I added the IQ and then I asked my critical thinking. Everything is filtering through my IQ, my emotional intelligence, and my spiritual intelligence. So I'm filtering everything to bring into my quality world. And that's why I said it, just like I modernized Dr. Glasser's car to bring it to the place that I look at my IQ, my EQ, and my SQ. Because most people can address the IQ and the EQ, but purpose and meaning and identity is linked to the SQ. So I'm bringing those into my quality world and I'm asking myself these questions in relationship to Dr. Glasser's total behavior. So I got to have headlights to give me guidance. But then I think about something else. I think about something else that I need. It's tail lights. I rarely see, you ever been behind a car and they were stopping, but there was no tail lights? Anybody been behind a car and they were slowing down, but there was no tail lights going on. But wasn't that a time for you to reflect and give you feedback that this car is slowing down, but there's no tail lights there? When the last time you got behind or someone got behind you for reflection and feedback? Isn't it amazing that the car has tail lights? And so we get us a chance to reflect. So when I'm dealing with mental health and dealing with these Black men and men of color, I want them to do a reflection every day. So I challenge them to say, hey, what is it that you need to reflect on now? Like, do I have my goals set? Where I'm headed? What choices do I need to make to get there? Do I know what I want? Do I look at what I'm doing? I do my WDEP. I'm constantly doing that. But I got to get them to give me some feedback. And the tail light said, I'm stopping, I'm slowing down, I'm turning the car off, I'm parked, there's no lights here, there's tail light. But then think about your turn signals, everyone. And I hate to get behind a car. This is my pet peeve. You're gonna turn. They put turn signals in your car so you can let the person behind you recognize your intentions or the decisions to change direction. Now, in a different culture, I found out in one culture, and I was hearing this from one of my guys in California, in another culture, when they put the signal light on, that's an indicator that you can pass on the right, you can pass on the left. So in different cultures, it means something different. But you think about it. What's your intentions? When you're doing your turn signals, what decision have you made? And that's what it's about. So that's why I want to modernize Dr. Glass's car and say it needs turn signals. Your intentionality, your decisions you're going to make, the choices you make to change direction. I guess y'all got to look at your car totally different after this session. Gonna go and look at your car like, okay, I need to. Isn't that right, Miss Sharon? You're gonna go look at your car and go like, oh yeah, I need to pay attention. Right, Miss Pamela, I got to look at my car a little bit differently now. It's like, let me put on my turn signal so other people can see what my intentions is, what direction I'm taking. Isn't that amazing when we recognize that's part of our behavior? So you know what? Your car got to have a dashboard. And how many of you pay attention to the warning like gas, gas low, your gas low, you know, engine light on. So do you have one built inside of you saying you're aware and you're monitoring? The dashboard is awareness. I'm aware of what's going on. I need to rest. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My dashboard is lighting up. How many times that happens that we don't pay attention to the dashboard, Miss Megan? We don't look at the dashboard and say, hey, right, Denzel, we don't pay attention. Here's the awareness. The body is saying, You got a headache, and the headache is not the result that you need to go take a an aspirin or a pill. The headache is the result that you haven't rested in a while. Your body, you haven't given it the proper exercise it needs. Look at the dashboard, everybody. What about your dashboard? Are you aware when the warning lights are on? They do happen. But pay attention to it. When we look at it and we ask ourselves these critical questions and we talk about our behavior, am I aware even of my breathing? Do I do breathing exercise, mindfulness, and meditation? And I'm aware of it, my dashboard. What about the passengers you have? You ever had some backseat drivers who want to tell you how to drive? You ever had some of those around in your life? Ah, once you turn left, turn right. But the passengers was designed for support and collaboration. Do we not need that in our behavior? Do not we not need support? Do we not need collaboration? So that's why I wanted to modernize Dr. Glass's car. Now you got to see about painting. You got to see what we're doing with it to paint it and put it out for everybody to see it. It's modernizing the car because the passenger represents support and collaboration. You can't do life by yourself. You need support. You need collaboration. When people think they can do life without support and collaboration. What we finding out when people come out of prison and they come out of rehab, they got to have support and collaboration so they can maintain their sobriety. Oh, I got a rearview mirror for reflection and learning. It's a reflection and learning. We don't live in the rearview mirror, but we reflect. And there's some learning time because looking back how far we have come in this glass of world, a choice theory, reality therapy, look how far we have come. But we shouldn't stop there. We should continue to allow it to evolve. And I noticed that about, the Darwin theory of evolution. And I know some people say, well, no, we do evolve. Things do evolve. And I saw that with Glasser about how do we take this and it evolves into the next level because now we have electric cars, we have these hybrid cars, we got all different kinds. And we need to do some reflection. We need to do some learning. How much have we learned about behavior? And then I want to look at the gaslight. Y'all see what happens when the gaslight, my wife, we were talking about when you're running on empty, like some people wait till they get to the very last bit and they say, oh, I need to go get some gas. Right. And they rush to the gas station, not knowing their motivation and energy is low. But that is your dashboard. It's helping you pay attention to when you're running low. You are human. I realize, regardless of AI and all the artificial intelligence, we are still human beings. And we do run on empty at times. All right. Here's my close to the last part of my car is how you see how shiny this car is? It's for your self-care. Think about it. Because I love detailing cars. I'm in detailing cars a long time in my life. And I look at a car that's properly detailed and I say, this person is really taking good care of this car. And I turned on the outside. Well, I got one more piece after this. I turned on the outside and asked myself this question. How's your self-care plan? Do you have one? Well, that's your outside, external, internal. External saying, I have a self care plan. I know when to give myself. I call it, and I think I shared this before. I call it DND. That's a do nothing day. My wife would tell me in a minute. She said, "When are you going to take a DND?" And I do absolutely nothing. When I take a DND, it's no work. Brain is shut down. I'm not. Nope. No phone calls. Nothing. Zero. Absolutely not. If it's an emergency, you need to call someone else because I'm not going to take care of it. Seriously, it is my self care plan. So I have a self care plan when I shut down, I shut it off because trust me, the world will go on without you. And you have to take care of yourself. which was my greatest downfall as a Marine. I didn't take good care of myself and I suffered for it. Little by little, you may not think about it, but as you get older, you realize you got to take good care of yourself. The things you took for granted when you were younger, that stuff shows up when you get older. I got somebody on this call witness to that. So you got to take care of yourself. And that's why when you clean the outside of the car, you're realizing you're taking care of you. Accessories, oh my God, I love my accessories on my car. Like you get all this other stuff, accessories on your car. You got the ones, like the purse, the wallet, and all the other accessories that you carry into the car, the things you carry into the car, the things you bring into a circle, the things you bring into a conversation, the things you bring into a relationship. Those are your accessories that you bring. As you're talking with someone, look at all the accessories you bring. You bring your knowledge, you bring yourself, you bring your mind, you bring your feelings, your emotions, you bring your total behavior into every conversation. Okay. But here's my last piece, the traffic signals. Because one thing I saw about Glasser, Dr. Vicky, is he failed to tell us that we're interconnected with other people. You're not an isolated island. You're connected with other people in the community you with, the people you work with. Your interconnectedness is critical to your behavior. So I look at the green light, it's healthy, effective behaviors. Like you know when to go, you know when to slow, you know when to stop, it's healthy, effective behaviors. You know when you're thinking, you're processing things within yourself. You know your own triggers. You know the chatter that you got going on in your mind. Even while I'm talking, you're still talking to yourself. You know what's a healthy, effective behavior looks like. The yellow light, warning signs, and or trouble, or that's supposed to be warning signs of trouble ahead. Sometimes you see these caution lights flashing everywhere because we're interconnected with other people. We see these flashing yellow lights. You see them everywhere you turn. You see some flashing yellow lights because you're interconnected with others. What are the warning signs we're seeing today in our economy and everything that we have to make adjustments to? Maybe these are warning lights that we need to slow down for a while. And then think about the red light. This is ineffective total behavior. This is when the car is breaking down and you're still trying to drive it. This is when the car needs maintenance, and this is when you know that the warning signs is on, but you refuse to stop long enough to get help. Wouldn't it be nice as all of us know when this red light is going off that we say we're interconnected with other people, we're connected with the world, we're connected with nature, and the red light is going off. And I'm watching too many people today run through traffic lights, run through red lights with no consideration of other people. An ineffective total behavior. This is my piece that I have incorporated in teaching staff at the Department of Juvenile Justice, along with my Black men and men of color, in addressing their total behavior. Thank y'all for your time. The traffic light is off. All right. That's my presentation.
That is amazing. You told me I would be surprised, and I am. So, opened up for comments, questions. Go ahead, Steve. Oh, and Denzel both.
That's just an applause. I'm just clapping. Thank you.
And Denzel too. Wow. Thoughts?
I have a thought, Vicky.
Hmm.
So, Charles, I have a newly minted 16-year-old grandson who just got his driver's license. He's not newly minted, but the driver's license is. And I'm thinking, what a fabulous expanded version of Dr. Glasser's total behavior, because I think he really resonate with, because he's so in touch with how complex it is. Even though he's got his license, there's still a heck of a lot to really feel you've got the handle on. So thank you. That was very, very good.
Thanks, Lynn. Denzel, go ahead.
Yeah. So just to say, Charles, I need to book a D day, full disclosure. So and Lynn is laughing because she knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think we
So
all do. So, yes.
yeah, well, we need to be honest with ourselves. I
Yeah.
was just saying to my niece, I'm thinking in July to try to step into it. I'm trying to set myself up for success. What I would want to know, Charles, is when you do the different components, with this young men, and I assume it's young and old men, different age groups that you work with. What are some of the elements that they find most challenging in terms of their understanding, and in terms of shifting thinking as well?
Well, and I think the biggest thing we found out that in shifting their thinking is, especially when I have integrated the IQ, EQ, and the SQ, that EQ piece. A lot of them haven't. We trying to take them through some training now about the emotional intelligence so they can be better. They can regulate their emotions better, and I saw that was an opportunity for us to be able to use total behavior a lot better for them, and so they can see some things, especially the dashboard, and when they look at it, and then they interconnecting with the traffic lights, that really made a big difference for them.
Hmm, cool. Thanks.
And so we got a few of them that's their responsibility to hold everybody else accountable for what we are teaching them, and so they can teach other people with it, and that's what I'm seeing it because I've been doing it for about 2.5, 3 years now with them, and those guys are really, really becoming successful. Um, I have one, well, three of them were on drugs. I mean, one was suicidal. He had a couple of suicidal attempts, and another one he was getting out of federal prison. Today, they have formed their own LLC. They're purchasing properties. They're doing stuff. They're working this total behavior consistently, and we're seeing the fruit of their labor. And they stay in class with me. They hang out with me. Like 2 weeks ago, we were on a farm. They were with me on this farm, working on the farm, trying to help this guy. Just so they're constantly seeing my behavior, and they starting to, it's changing how they see life. And so it's been pretty good with them.
I think it's absolutely wonderful that you're integrating the concepts you're teaching into very real life
Mm,
experiential learning. As you
right.
say, you take them to the farm, and it means you integrate that into very things that are very real happening in their lives. So I think that's absolutely a wonderful concept.
And I think
Yeah,
using
thanks.
the car is going to resonate with men too. They're going to understand all that. I mean, all of us do, but men in particular. Pamela Brooks has a comment in the chat that she learned control theory with the use of the car metaphor and loved your explanation. So rich with examples. Thank you, Pam, for sharing that. Siva, you're muted.
Uh, you know, I am not a therapist, but most of you are. I I think, Dr. Dent, you have a model for what, uh, just in a positive way. This is a model for humans,
Hmm.
and it shouldn't be viewed as when people are needing therapy. We all need a. It, it's It's not a therapy model. It's a life model for everybody.
Right.
Um,
Dr. Dent, would you care to elaborate on some of that?
No, I agree with her because You know, we have to remind ourselves how many people go to therapy, and and for in the context, we have more majority of people in Alabama. They will go see a clergy person, and also a church before they go see a therapist. And so, one of the things we've been doing is trying to train pastors to be able to address more mental health challenges and issues in our community, because your parishioners will come to you before they go to see a therapist. And so by having these models before them, and matter of fact, it was just last week, another pastor said, "Hey, Dr. Dent, I need you to come back and teach more about mental health." I'm doing it with this whole the Church of God in Christ. I'm taking on their entire Church of God in Christ in the South to teach them mental health. Um, so the bishop, the overseer, has called me in. We were at a meeting, and he wants me to teach the entire his pastors all over the South. Entire That's from Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. It goes all the way up to LA. So he wants me to train his pastors in learning this. And so, yes, it's very, very beneficial when I could teach this to people who are laymen and women in churches, to make it part of their mission that they're going to teach total behavior. And I'm doing it by helping people. I got a car. They got to take the car. I mean, my models, I got cars on the desk. We're doing it in July with the school teachers. They're gonna look at the car. They're gonna build a car. We got all kinds of cars going on here, everybody. It's just, yeah. So it works. We're gonna. It's a practical, hands-on, and it really makes sense when they get into their car, they can see their behavior. So yeah, it's really, really good. She has another question. Go ahead, Sue.
It's a comment. I very much connect with Dr. William Glasser because I am a Jew. He was a Jew. He was a very, very secular Jew. I went to the same high school that he went to.
Mm.
Read his autobiography. It was made a lot of sense to me. But I I think it's a mistake to tie religion into this model. You need to separate it. This is how human beings should be functioning. It's a language of communication. And you get away from religion. Religion is.
So I want to read something that Rena wrote in the chat. It definitely helps to understand ourselves and others in a more complex manner. Humans aren't simple. We're so much deeper. So this helps to really see total, and she put that in quotes, behavior. Is it possible to have access to your PowerPoint or your breakdown for further exploration?
Rena, the answer is yes, because I do have it broken down. I have a chart. I got all of it. So if you can just give Vicky your email address, or send it to me, or I'll send it to you. It's I think it's, I got 15 pages of it.
Wow.
Uh,
So are you writing your next book?
I'm doing a training manual because I'm training.
Oh.
I'm headed to Harlan to train SUS. I don't know if you guys know it about SUS in Harlan. I'm writing the training manual for them, and I'm adding total behavior as part of it. So I have, yeah. I mean, yeah. I got Rena. If you want it, I'll provide it for you. There's charts and everything. That will go with it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, get myself unmuted. Dr. Dent, I definitely love all the ways that you've broken down and used all of the parts of the car. I was just wondering on the traffic signals, I think that's such a, I'm just talking about that piece right now. Do you ever tie that to the back wheels? Because the back wheels we're taught tells us how we're feeling. But the signal light gives us the yellow, red, green, red, and yellow to look at those. Do you ever tie that to how the feelings and the physiology give us that information?
No, I haven't tied it into that. Not yet. But that's a good point. Because I have to go back to these days when like for example, I see these kids doing wheelies in the parking lot. I remember I saw this one guy doing wheelies in the parking lot. I walked up to him and I said, I tell you one thing, you don't buy those tires, do you? And he said, no. He said, why you say that? I said, if you knew how expensive those tires are, you would not do that. I said, so who's buying your tire? He said, my mom buys my tire. I said, do you know what kind of stress you put on your moms to purchase those tires when you out here doing wheelies? And you know what? He recognized his behavior at that moment, and he saw that he needed to change it because he was putting his mom in a very difficult position to constantly buy these tires, and they were very expensive tires. Yeah, he was on he was in a Camaro. And he was doing those wheelies, and I
Mhm.
pulled him aside and I
Right.
said, "Do you understand?"
Right.
So
So that quality world picture of his mom was speaking to him loud and clear. And you pulled that out of him, by bringing up that discussion. That's excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, it's excellent. Well,
I saw that, and everything that you did was just an expansion of going back to the components of the car.
mhm.
That, if you went back to those components, would explain how you're using all the different features on a car. And I think our young men definitely relate to that. So thank you.
you're welcome.
Dr. Charles, I want a Bentley SUV. That's my dream car.
Uh,
So now I'm going to go through the Bentley and put all these components in. I'm going to think about this more. Lynn, I think you had your
Yeah.
hand up. Go ahead, please.
Well, Sharon, I'm fascinated with what you said because I see the traffic lights as the external
mhm,
world,
mhm.
and the Right. back wheels of the car are the internal part of our internal system.
Right,
So I wasn't sure how you were connecting them. Could you help me?
right. I'm thinking that the streetlights are external, but if we take it to the internal, if we take it to where we're operating from within, because that's what controls us, is what's within. That would be the back wheel and the feeling wheel. The back wheel is giving us that information. And we could recognize as we get that information, hey, it's good, the road's smooth. I'm traveling well. I'm steering steering wheel down the road I want. If I hit some bumps, oh, maybe I'm not driving so well. Maybe I'm hitting the curb or bouncing around. If I'm having a crash, wow, I've not steered my car where I want to. So I'm just comparing it to the internal
Mm.
Lynn.
Okay, feedback.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that's good because the car is connected to the road. And you don't it's so much more I could put there. Like
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. It's interconnectedness. So the car is not isolated by itself. It operates in relationship. It operates. And so we have to remind ourselves those behaviors are operating, whether we're at home, with our children, on work, wherever we are. I think that's the interconnectedness that I was thinking about, and that's why I put
Mhm.
the traffic lights there.
Mhm.
Right. I was using the traffic lights as our internal monitor of using
Mhm.
that information.
Mm. Here's the worst thing about it is when we abuse the car,
Mhm.
and that's when we abuse our behaviors, and we what happens when that abuse happens to the car, and what happens when we constantly ignoring the warning signs. There's consequences to it. So as choice theory, we look at, what are you doing? You say you want this, you say you desire this, but what are you doing? So uh,
So, Charles, do you make any variations for the electric car?
oh
You
yes.
mentioned
Oh
that.
my God, yes. Yes.
You've
Yes.
left us hanging on
Yeah.
that
Oh
point.
yes. That's up for you to figure. But no, but I really there's a lot of variation to the electric car. I mean,
Ah.
yes. And I have one. So it's like there's a lot of variations to the electric car. Like you don't you if yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to throw out there an SUV is different, a truck is different.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Yes.
We all have the same components. Um, I know that with my truck, I sit up higher driving down the road than I do when I was in my little Honda Accord or Civic.
Hmm.
Does that mean you took more risks?
Well, that's what I'm wondering now. I'm thinking, when I'm driving down my parents to go to my parents' house because I care for them 4 days a week, their road is like enough for 1.5 people. Um, in my truck, I have a Honda Ridgeline, I tend to slow down. I tend to move over. And oftentimes, if a dump truck or something bigger than me is coming my way, I tend to stop because the road's not big enough for both of us.
Mm.
So I believe that I respond differently in my Ridgeline than I did in my CRV or my Honda Accord or Civic.
Same driver though.
Same driver.
Hmm.
I
Wait, what was William? He put in there, but we all mechanics.
uh that would make us mechanics. Can you share more about what you were thinking there, William?
Yes, when you have to take your car for help, you bring it to a mechanic.
Mm.
I do because I don't want to learn how to change it. I don't want to do the oil changes. I don't want to change the tires. I don't want to replace the brakes, even though my father taught us how to do all that. So I do choose to go to a mechanic. How about the rest of you? Thank you, Sharon.
Well, I like the parallel, William, that you're saying there is a time and a place for help from somebody who's a car expert or a human behavior expert or whatever. I think that's what you're pointing to.
So you're saying by deferring to a mechanic, you're kind of relinquishing responsibility from fixing it yourself.
Are you asking Vicky or me?
I'm asking, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just putting out that comment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I said yes, without a doubt. I'm putting the responsibility on someone who's trained to do this better than I can. I'm totally. I see. I grew up being a mechanic, right? I grew up with my dad working on greasy cars. When my dad used to get off from work, we had to go to his shop, his auto shop. Man, I said I will not do that in my life. I told my dad, I said, Grease is not my middle name. It's not. So, um, but the key thing, when you're absolutely right, we are relinquish responsibilities to other people to help us, but we do take responsibility for the behavior that we create in that setting. Because the mechanic can tell us, hey, if you keep driving this car like this was going to happen to it. So sometimes we have a different perspective that's getting us the feedback we need so that we can manage the car better than what we have done. Because I got some people in my family, she's not on the call today. My wife's not on the call. Man, I say, why y'all so hard on cars? I'm like, so I had to tell my wife, like, hey, you need a car that's gonna let you know when you veering off, so she liked that idea. So um, but I think it's very important that we recognize when we're damaging the car and that we need to take it in for service. And I think that's why the interconnectedness is necessary. I love the question, William.
I do too. So I'm wondering if there's another word besides relinquishing the responsibility to the car mechanic. Because I'm opting for it. I want someone with more knowledge and expertise to take care of me.
Exactly. Me
I
too.
Yeah. When I learned to change the oil in a car, it was before we have the vehicles we have today. Um, can I still do it? Probably. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I don't
Well,
even attempt.
I think it's like what Charles said in terms of passengers. You can be irritated with your passenger, or you could see them as a support, a companion, an extra pair of eyes, a navigator. I mean, it's all in how we use or perceive something. So I'm with you. I want to take my car to the expert, and I know it's not me.
And
But I,
sometimes it's all of us is needing the tune up sometimes, just
Yeah.
like, people need people to connect with to tune them up. I mean, I got four people in my life I consider my mechanic, so, and I need them. I need them. They do
What
keep me sharp. They keep me grounded, you know.
what relationship are they to you?
Good question.
One is a professional, one is personal, one is relational, and one is spiritual.
Ooh. Professional, spiritual,
Relational and personal.
and personal.
So it's just call me on the carpet when you need to. Like Denzel can call me on the carpet and say you ain't got back with me yet. So I, wou- I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. So because
how do you
you got
call yourself out like that, Charles?
it's easy, man. It's easy. Self-disclosure is no problem to me. So
Oh,
because
beautiful.
the thing is when you can call yourself out on things like, just like Vicky said, she wanted a Bentley. What kind of SUV?
Yes.
So that means no bumper stickers, no anything. That's making sure you have you getting that taken care of. Now, electric car, I don't need to worry about changing oil. I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about the battery, which I take care of. That is easy. Tires, windshield wiper blades, and air condition filters, a couple of filters, and that's it. And
Nicholas,
you can't even take it through a certain car wash because it
yeah.
damaged the paint job.
Are you talking about my Bentley or are you talking about
Yeah,
your electric car?
your Bentley, you best have someone servicing that car, cleaning that car for you.
Okay, something else I have to look into in case that dream ever happens.
Mm.
But Renee, you said you know somebody can change the tire. What was that, chat?
Sorry, I'm just saying, like, I know how to change a tire, but physically, due to my arthritis, it's nearly impossible for me. So, I could just give up and just sit there and, just woe is me, or I can ask for help or, and for anything major, I think it's much recommended to take it to a professional and kind of seek that advice and even learn some things, from them. But and put my time better use into other things, other parts of myself versus completely rooting my car trying to do something that I have no business trying to do.
Well,
So
I'd have to agree with Rena. That's why I have AAA, I think, or I have that coverage on my insurance so I can call someone, come help me out. William had a comment. Some people are speeding.
But yeah,
Yes.
I think Dr. Dent can elaborate on that.
Are you saying you got a camera watching me drive or something? Are you
No,
paying
not at
attention?
all.
Are you
I
paying
just
attention to my driving habits or what? No, but you're right about that. And I think, I think that happens too often when I see younger people trying to speed their way through life, and speeding doesn't improve your behavior.
So I'd like to ask you to add the cruise control in the vehicle and how you would explain my cruise control to keep me from speeding.
Yeah, I thought about the cruise control and the self drive now. In the electric car, they can drive itself, but
Mhm.
that's kind of dangerous. I tried to let my car just drive itself for a minute, and then it'll say, grab the steering wheel, say, grab the steering wheel, say, grab the, and then if you don't, the car start to shake. And it's thinking you sleep, trying to wake you up.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll start to shake. The steering wheel and everything starts to shake, and then it starts to slow down, thinking you're asleep to wake you up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like they show you, don't fool yourself. You can't. It's not self driving for 5, 6, 7 miles, 30 hours, or whatever. No, it's too dangerous, and it tells you that. So.
Well, my 2009 cruise control doesn't shake or tell me when it thinks I'm going to sleep, but it sure has kept me from getting some tickets.
Uh,
William, I have a lead foot. I love to go fast. So, any other comments or questions, insights?
I was going to offer one thing. Charles, I love your piece around, the gas and how low are you and so on. There's a terrific book called Running on Empty. And what this author has done beautifully is outline all the ways we can be depleted in terms of the emotional nourishment that we need, healthy and happy and so on. And really, in a sense, brought the whole idea of emotional neglect as a real thing to pay attention to. We've had capital T traumas and small t traumas, but emotional neglect and the way that it happens really sets people up to not be in good position, to be paying attention to the gas, to their emotional state, not aware of feelings, etc. That are, as Sharon was saying earlier, feelings give us feedback on how well we're doing. So I thought it was cute that you were talking about the gas, and that book really beautifully ties into what happens when we're running on empty.
Lynn, we have a couple of young men, a grandson and a nephew that we kind of keep tabs on and try to help out. And I cannot convince them that you do not save money by running your tank all the way down to empty. When you don't have a lot of money, that's the strategy. Well, just run it all the way down. I'm thinking, God, you're going to burn that gasoline eventually.
Yeah.
You might as well give yourself a little margin of comfort, a little margin of protection, because you're going to spend it anyway. And by running it on empty, of course, you run the risk of running out and making things even worse. But I have yet to be able to convince these two young men that running on empty doesn't save you any money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're not tuning into what's going on internally for them. They think there's no cost emotionally.
So I got cured of that, Steve, by a couple explaining to me that when you run your gas tank down to empty, that you harm your fuel pump.
Well, that's true. You
And
suck in all the crud that's down at the
yeah,
bottom there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
so since then, when it gets to half a tank, I am typically filling up just because I started to understand the dynamics of how the fuel runs through the vehicle and how I'm harming it by not keeping it fuller.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Dent, I'm not sure what the choice theory equivalent of all that is, but
I
don't wait till
do
the
like
last minute to get help.
no, do yeah, that's true. That's true. And do like my dad, do like my dad did us. Okay, you want to run on E? I just let it run out, and then don't call me when you do.
oh
Learn your lesson. And that was the true thing. Just
Yeah.
don't call me when you do. You figure it out. Me, so you smart enough to think you can do it. By all means, go ahead. When the fuel pump mess, you go ahead. So I learned when I was working with him as a mechanic, especially I'm in the fuel pumps. Oh my God. I remember one time I got sprayed in the face because I was taking a fuel pump and I go like, my dad go like, you didn't tie that line off, did you? You know, I was like, no. So yeah, it's a good point. Real good point. Sometimes you just need to let them learn. Like I taught my son three things. I hold up three fingers sometimes, say, she will learn. That's what I hold like. He will learn. And I hold my three fingers up. My son knows exactly what I'm saying. You'll learn. So yeah,
learn. I like that.
well, thanks Vicky for inviting me. Thank you guys for being here today. Really thank you for your feedback and stuff. And just
I really appreciate you being here. For those of you on the call, if you're not part of the William Glasser Institute for Choice Theory, I put the link in the chat room for you to click on if you'd like. And if you'd like further training information on choice theory, reality therapy, lead management, there's a link in there too. We would love to help you and get you trained. I will send out to Rena and to Lynn and Loma. I think you three requested information from Dr. Charles. we will do that. Our next meeting, if we look at, this is May, correct, is June 24th, the fourth Tuesday of the month, 12 noon. We'd like to have you for all of you to join us on our next Reality Therapy Corner. If you want a CE, we'll be glad to get that for you. You can contact me and I can get you the links to apply for the CE credits. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything else? Loma, Ko, Megan, Ryla, we hadn't heard from you. If you have anything, now's your opportunity. We appreciate you joining us. We really do. Thank you for visiting us, especially if this was your first time. I'm glad that you got to hear Dr. Charles Dent. Appreciate all of you. Yes. Big hand applause for Dr. Dent.
Thank you.
Yes. And we have, go ahead.
Could you put my name on that list as well? We send.
Sure, I can do that, Denzel. I have your email.
Appreciate that.
I don't think your email's changed. So everyone, thank you so much for this hour. Appreciate you, Dr. Dent. If you don't mind hanging out for a minute, Dr. Dent.
Okay.
I don't think we have any other chats. Let me just check.
Had a question about the conference.
Yes.
Who can I speak to? You know, somebody that's arranging it. I just wanted to get more information.
Sure, you can talk to myself or Steve Tracy's on the phone, on the call right here. We'll be glad to. Do you want email or do you want a phone call?
Either or.
Okay.
I'll put my email in the chat and you're welcome to get back to me. This is Steve.
Sure.
I'm just going to put that in there right now.
Yeah. If you have any questions about the conference, we can answer those.
That's it pretty much.
Okay. William, where are you from?
I'm out of Lakewood, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
And I work with mental health. And I'm also a teacher. And I'm incorporating both of them into my work. And
Have
it's
you
pretty cool.
Have you gone through our training yet?
No, I haven't.
So I'd be glad to talk to you about that. That'd be wonderful.
Sure.
That'd be
Maybe you can give me your number also.
Sure. Let me send it to you right now.
And William, I just sent over my email,
Yeah.
phone number, so happy to chat with you.
That's really awesome.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Matt. Great session.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
There, I just sent it
Hey,
to you.
Denzel, we'll catch up. Let's do that soon.
We'll do so. I'll
All
send you an email. Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Do that
Yeah.
today.
Denzel, was good to see you. Thank you for joining us. What time is it over there?
It's about 7 p.m.
7
Yeah.
p.m. 7. Okay. So we're
Early
6
evening,
hours.
yeah.
We're 6 hours behind you.
I know, yeah. So I'm off to finish my day.
All right. Thank you, sir, very
Yeah.
much. And to the rest of you,
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye for
very
now.
much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Denzel.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, Loma. Okay. So you all will have to, let's see, I'm not sure how to do this. There we go. Megan, did you have something for us? Okay. Okay. Had to remove a couple people. They weren't hanging up.
I saw that.
So I just wanted to do a follow-up, how you thought things went, if there's anything I can do differently the next time.
No, Vicky, is great as always. I wanted to ask you about something because I've been working on a piece that I'm starting Dent Leadership Academy in this fall. The class I'm starting